Hello, everyone. J and A here from Your Weight Loss. Hi, Leash.
Hey,
Oh, we're talking about something fun today. I
it
like
is
it.
fun. I mean, you just like talking. If you said the,
I don't care about the topic. I just like talking.
yeah, yeah,
The weather is really nice today. I mean, maybe not when you're listening, you guys, but for us right now, no wind.
it was windy yesterday.
Oh, yes, it was, girl. So
I
windy.
did you see I did the bridge to bridge walk?
No, I didn't. What's bridge to bridge? Tell me more.
Well, the new bridge is open in Riverview.
Hmm,
Big news.
that's big news already. Wow.
Yeah, they rocked it.
Wow. Is it nice?
Yeah, as nice as a bridge can be.
Okay. And it was like, was it an official walk? Bridge to bridge?
No, that's. I mean, people in Riverview would know what I meant.
Okay.
But I just left my house, like, and walked down, to that main
Yes.
road and walked across that bridge and then walked through like the what used to be the dump. Apparently, like there's like at one point there's just dirt under me,
Okay. 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 Okay.
but there is like a path, and then you keep walking. Then I walked across the other bridge and then home.
Was it nice?
It was beautiful. It actually was less than 11 kilometers. I thought it was going to be about 12.
Hmm. But tell me about like, was it nice? Like the bridge was nice to walk on? Like there's a path?
Yes, a
Okay.
very nice path.
Okay. Well, that's good. Kind of like the other
Yeah.
bridge has a really nice path as well.
Yeah, I love doing a loop. I find there's something about a loop that is
Instead of like going and coming back the same, I know what you're saying. I see what you mean.
there's something so reinforcing about a complete circle.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love it. I support your complete circle. Okay, well, everyone, today we're talking about labels.
Yes.
And you know what? Like Alicia and I have been so open about like how we don't label ourselves or label the things we do or label like because even like down to numbers, that's almost like a label. Like I drink 2 liters, but what if one day you're more thirsty? What if one day you're less thirsty? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like sometimes labels are goals. And I just feel like it doesn't allow you to adjust and change. And maybe they're no longer the goals you want. Like, what happens when that, and then it creates noise and disappointment and all of those things that bring up emotions.
I think that people who really feel that desire to have a label in certain areas in their life perhaps don't have as strong of an sense of identity, a sense of who they want to be than people that don't perhaps.
Okay.
Like I do not feel the need to have a label in like any area of my life.
I know what you mean. Why is that?
Like I don't feel the need to have the same last name as my husband. And actually someone asked me that the other day. They're like, "Why didn't you?" And I'm like, it's just who I am. Like this is my name. Like I think to me, it's like weird to change it, and I don't need that. Oh, they're married. They all have the same last name. Like I don't have a diamond ring.
Yeah.
I don't need these things to feel like I'm married.
Okay. Right.
Right? Like that's how we know we're married. There's a diamond ring. There's
the same last name.
The same last name. Okay, wait. I have a fun story to tell you.
Okay. Oh my God.
I was walking on my walk yesterday, and a man is driving in his car. He indicates for me to take my earphones out.
Oh, I hate him already.
And he goes, "Can I give you a compliment?" I'm like, "Sure." And he says, "You're beautiful." And I'm like, "Thank you." And then he goes, "But you're married, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Super married."
Oh my God. That's
That just
weird.
reminded me of that. Very weird. And then
And
I
we
thought,
know how old this man is.
I did not. Nope. But I feel like I wasn't his only person that he pulled up beside and told that to yesterday. I feel like that was his strategy.
That's very odd. Was he your age?
Maybe a bit older, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's a very strong strategy.
Anyway, that just reminded me of that. But I'm just a person that doesn't feel the need to have those labels. And we really started thinking about even like intermittent fasting. So that's something that's very interesting to people. And they ask us if we're intermittent fasters because they know that we don't often eat breakfast. Perfect example. I actually ate breakfast today.
Right.
Why did I eat breakfast today, Jose?
I'm guessing because probably yesterday you had a really good day and maybe you went to bed like without having anything in your belly. So you were actually hungry this morning. I think you
100%.
went for a walk as well, probably
I
this
sure
morning.
did.
So
And
you were
at the
hungry.
end of my walk, my body was like, "Oh, you need to eat something." So instead of me being like, "No, absolutely not. I'm an intermittent faster and I'm only on hour 12 and I will suffer through the next 4 hours," I went, "I'm going to drama free eat a delicious pumpkin protein cookie from my freezer and move on with my life."
Absolutely. And I do think that people don't even notice that they act differently because of a label. Okay, so like it actually stops them from, it actually makes you act a certain way without even you realizing that you're doing it because you've labeled yourself that way. The one label that I want to talk about is fussy.
Ooh, that's a great
That's a
label.
really
It's a
strong label when
great
it comes
label.
to weight loss or whatever, health or I don't know. Um, People have labeled, that's a label. Like you've
Mhm.
labeled yourself as fussy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what do you mean? And they're like, I just like don't like vegetables. How about then you just say you don't like vegetables? Why do you have to label yourself as fussy? Because but do you like no vegetables? Like you could also be like, let's go even deeper. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like the smell. I don't like, okay, cool. So really it was just mushrooms. So you've labeled yourself your whole life as someone that's fussy because it all started with just mushrooms. Like maybe you just don't like mushrooms. And I like mushrooms. Do I eat mushrooms? No. Like, but I like them. So I'm not gonna be like I'm fussy. I also like to keep it simple. Mushroom is complicated.
Oh my
But you
god.
know what I mean? Like I like to eat the same thing all the time. So I just like it's not part of the like uh
It's not on her a
it's not
list
on
of
my list.
5 things that she buys at the grocery store at this
Exactly.
moment.
But you get what I mean? Like, I eat the same I keep it simple and I eat the same things often because it's who I like to be. But do I
Ooh.
label myself as fussy?
Oh, guys, I'm thinking of such a good example.
Okay,
Okay.
go.
Okay. And when you here's basically the point of what we want to get across to you guys, and then we're gonna give you tons of examples. I'm getting into it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So we believe that when you give yourself a hard label, that can actually hold you back from making changes, from making progress. You are gonna get stuck. Okay. If you are so attached to one specific label. We are evolving. We are changing. We are different people than we were 5, 10 years ago. I don't know why we think we need to have a label on us for anything that we do in our life.
And
Okay.
for the okay, wait, and for the rest of your life. So maybe
Yes.
5 years ago, you were labeled yourself as like an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
And then we're like stuck. I love when you said you're stuck.
Stuck.
And you did nothing,
Stuck.
and you're not having the proper conversations of who you are today.
Because you're like so attached to like, no, no, but I'm a weightlifter, but like you actually don't even enjoy it anymore. Or like, no,
Right.
I'm a vegetarian, but like you like desperately are craving a good steak.
I know what you mean.
Right? Like, but
It
you're
stops you
you
from evolving with your life.
and guys, do you know how Jose and I maintain our happiness? By adjusting, evolving, changing.
Yeah.
Like that's how we maintain our happiness. That's how we maintain our weight because what makes us happy 5 years ago is not what's going to make us happy. Like we're different people than we were 5 years ago.
We have a different mindset, we have different language, we've learned, we've evolved, we've matured, like,
Uh
oh, so many things, and then people are like, "How did you get to lose that weight and you still have kept it off?" Because we've kept up with the times.
we do not have any specific label to identify how we exercise, how we eat. That we don't. We do not.
We really do not, you guys. Yeah, we really don't.
Okay, I'm thinking about kids and I'm
Yeah.
thinking about kids in school and how sometimes certain kids get labels.
Mm.
And then I really believe sometimes I hurt for those kids because I see them acting in a way that they are reinforcing that label. But I know deep down that's actually not who they are. And then I get excited for those kids to like go to university because I think you get a fresh start.
Mm.
You get to be whoever you want to be right now. Like you see kids that are like, oh, that's the bad kid.
Mm.
And that kid's like, oh, I'm the bad kid. I need to act a certain way.
Absolutely.
There is definitely
1000%. There is definitely something to be said about that.
There is psychology there. I have seen it with my eyes over and over and over. And honestly, that's why I'm super annoying with my children with their language when it comes to kids in their class. And I don't let them say that kid's bad. Sometimes that child doesn't make good choices.
Yeah.
When they say, I don't like that food item, I say, that's actually just not your favorite. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And we just work on that language all the time. Super annoying.
Super annoying. I just feel like people aren't recognizing how it's stopping them and how they're stuck, and also how it creates noise and drama and emotions. So you've labeled yourself as a binger. You aren't even recognizing that because you've labeled yourself as someone that binges, you are binging more than if you had stopped that label. You will still binge here and there without the label, you guys. But it's the label has like given you permission to keep acting that way. And so if it allows you to add value to your life, whatever, keep doing your thing. But there is also some labels for sure, or most labels do not add value to your life. They actually stop you from evolving and adjusting to who you are today. And I do think that we think that just because we were an adult at 20, that you do not have the same values or priorities at 35. And it would be silly of me and naive of me to think that I will be the same José at 50. Like I will not. I might not value walking at 50. I might value weight training at 50 because I in the next 15 years I'm gonna learn something or want something else, or like things change. I'm not gonna be like, I'll never lift a weight. Absolutely not. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to lift a weight. Like today I don't want to. Today I want to go for a walk. Like, so it really depends. Seasons change, what you want changes. And I do think that we find ourselves into positions where we're lost and we're acting like someone we're not today.
Okay, I want to back up a little bit and touch on what you said about binge, labeling yourself as a binge eater. And I just need to say, guys, that we are not saying the only reason why you binge is because you've labeled yourself a binge eater. We are not saying that. We realize that binging is something that is a serious thing. You can have binge eating disorder. Many people really struggle with this. We take it super serious. I just wanted to have that conversation. But how about instead of saying I'm a binge eater, how about you say, sometimes I struggle with eating way past hunger, or sometimes I overeat, or I do struggle with periods of binging. Like instead of I'm a binge eater, there is a difference between that language. Same thing as I'm an emotional eater. I cringe when you guys tell me that. I really do. Because then in your brain, something bad happens and you think, oh, I'm an emotional eater. I always turn to food. This is just who I am. Whereas maybe every once in a while, maybe I do that. I don't know, but I don't say, oh, I'm an emotional eater.
Yeah.
And a stress eater, same thing. Like, oh, I'm a stress eater. I eat when I'm stressed. Like, how about we just label each individual situation as it is instead of grouping all together?
Even like in the book we're reading, Let That Shit Go, like she talks about labels and how if you've labeled yourself a certain way for so long, and if you really thought about like, where did this come from? Like this was someone else's perception at one point. Someone said something to you or maybe labeled you, and then that became your language.
Yep.
But like saying that you're fussy, like you're an adult. Like if you're an adult, you're not allowed to say you're fussy. I just feel like you're an adult. You make choices. Fussy is something that you were told when you were young. I know it. I feel that. I think that that's something that maybe your mom told you or your friends told you. But that was them putting a label on you. You do not have to act a certain way when someone says like, you're like this or you're like that, or that's just their perception of what you do, and you do not have to accept it. You do not have to become it. So there's also that conversation to go back and be like, where does this come from? Why do I label myself as this certain way? And who said that to me at one point? And is that still who I am?
And like I go back to my example, like maybe you had a teacher that was like, you're bad at math. And then your whole life have identified as someone that's bad at math. We used to see students like that all the time. And I was like, you're not bad at math.
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
but you've identified as that. And then when we already believe that we're bad at math, is our effort going to be the same than if we think I'm good at math. I can do this. Absolutely not.
No, your performance is very different depending on the labels you have. I'm telling you, you guys, like you don't even know.
I taught for, I don't know, 10 years, over 10 years. I saw thousands of students sit in front of me. And one of the indicators of success was their perception of themselves
Yeah.
and how much they thought they could do. And that was an indicator of success if they believed, okay, I can figure this out.
Yeah. And I mean, if we think about like people that I'm telling you, it really plays on how you perform. So for example, if you're like, um, I always lose fast at the beginning and whatever. You don't even recognize that you're doing something very restrictive at the beginning because you've labeled yourself or you have that identity of like someone that loses 5 pounds the first week. Like that's a tiny example and it's like a thing for 1 week, but still like think about that. Like people have like really labeled what their journey should look like as well. Like I should lose weight, 10 pounds for the first month. That's what I've always done. That's what it should look like. And then they're not recognizing that because of that language, they're behaving in a way that does not align with who they are today, values, and all that, and what they actually want to accomplish long term. There's just a lot of that piece that we're not recognizing, and that's what we do. Like what do we do at Your Right Weight Loss is we put things on the table for you to start thinking about like, holy crap, like that's me, c'est vrai. Like I do that. I think that way. I've acted that way. And then we create awareness. That's really what we help our members do. We create tons of awareness on different things, on different topics. And this one is about labels. And we want to have that conversation and we want you to have that conversation with yourself and create awareness around the labels you've put on yourself and how they make you perform differently.
I would love for people to take a moment as they're listening to this to think about specific labels that they have given themselves. Have you declared yourself that you hate exercise? I'm not an exerciser. Have you just declared that you're a picky eater? Have you declared that you're a vegetarian? Before this, when we were talking about the podcast, what at the top was going to be, Jose's like, what if you just like want a shrimp?
Like, what if one day you want a shrimp? And you're like, can't have a shrimp, I just like
I think there's a word for it if you eat fish. I think it's pescatarian, maybe.
oh,
If
okay.
if you eat if you're vegetarian but you eat fish,
How about you
someone
just
can.
eat
I
whatever you want?
know.
You know what
I
I mean? Why does
know.
it even like
Imagine
even
the pressure of being a vegetarian though.
I
Imagine
know
like let's
people
say
watch you because you've labeled yourself a vegetarian. You could have just said nothing and you could just do
and
whatever you
y-
want.
you could have just said like I prefer to eat primarily plant-based.
Mm,
Like, you could say that, you know what I mean? And then you're not that hard, "I'm a vegetarian," and obviously certain people, their intentions behind being a vegetarian are different than others. Some people think, "Oh, I'm gonna be a vegetarian, I'm gonna be skinny."
yeah.
Same
We
as,
talk
like,
yeah.
gluten-free. People think, "Oh,
Mm,
I'm gluten-free, I'm gonna be skinny."
yeah.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. They don't understand how a body gains or loses weight.
Nope.
It's not in vegetarian food. Uh, and then I'd be if I was that person though, I'd be like, but I know tons of people that have lost weight that aren't vegetarian. I'm always that person that's like, but I know tons of people that do it this way. So why would I label myself as that? Or why would I do that? Like, why would I label myself as intermittent fasting when I know tons of people that live a health like that do not have excess fat or excess weight and they're eating breakfast. So obviously
Yeah.
there's no freaking magic in any labels. The magic lies in you showing up in your life, in your four walls of your home, in the way that makes you feel like you are being you. Like, I can't say it enough.
That's it.
That's like legit our magic.
That is our magic. And we just really want you guys to think about not only what labels you've given yourself, but are they holding you back from your performance? Are they holding you back from adjusting? One that we just talked about, we went live on Instagram and we talked about tracking.
Right.
So many people identify, I'm a tracker, I'm not a tracker. And it's one of those things that has to be like black or white, but why does it have to be? What if just creating awareness around calories is a tool in your toolbox and some days you use it, some days you don't, some meals you use it, some meals you don't? What if you just looked at it like that as a dramaless tool?
Yeah, well, it's the drama. It's when we have labels, we legit think that we can't perform if we don't have a label because it's a rule. And you're like, okay, well, I labeled myself as this, so I need to act that way. And I don't think you realize, lack of a better word, the damage that it does. When you label yourself, it actually keeps you stuck and it doesn't allow you to stay connected to who you are in that certain era, in that certain time of your life. You're just like stuck to the label you like put out there 10 years ago. And it doesn't allow you true happiness. And we all know the importance of true happiness when it comes to losing the weight and keeping it off. And people keep saying to us like, oh, it's the maintenance so hard. And I'm like, it really shouldn't be. I'm sorry. Like you are doing things that are not you and you're not recognizing it. And you should be recognizing it by finding it so difficult. Evolve, change.
Yes.
If it's hard, change something.
That's why people stay stuck. They think they need to just suffer. If it feels so hard, you guys, if your current label that you're doing all the things under your label feels difficult, change, ditch the label and just say, okay, what pieces of that do I like? What pieces don't I like? There's pieces of intermittent fasting that we enjoy. So we keep those and we ditch the other stuff that we don't.
There is something to be said to let go of rules because it lets go of the guilt. And once you let go of the guilt, you really live in a mindset that allows you to perform better. You will perform better without noise, rules, labels. I truly believe that.
I
For a
also
longer period of time, for the rest of your life, I swear.
I also think that if you are feeling like your current label is really hard, like to live up to your current label is really hard, I would challenge that probably most of you are not seeing the results you're looking for right now
Mm,
because you're probably not being as consistent as you want to be right
because
now
it's hard.
because it's hard. So I want you to think of your labels and then I want you to think, is this label giving me success? Like, is that label serving me? Is that label getting me to where I want to be?
And what Alicia means by that, like she had a conversation with members that are like, I need to track to lose weight. Okay. They say those words, I need to track to lose weight. Yet they've been tracking for a year and have not lost weight. So obviously you do not need to track to lose weight because you're tracking and you're not losing weight. And it's those conversations. That's awareness. You're not a bad person. We're just putting it out there so you can be like, holy crap. They're right. There is no magic behind the tracking that I've put so much pressure on that I actually hate doing. It's actually stopping me from performing and creating weight loss for myself.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All right, you guys. So, start that conversation with yourself. This is more awareness. It's this. I love this. I feel like tons of people will relate to this. Share with your friends, huh? That's how you support us, but also that's how you get that message out there. And that's what we want in this world. We want our message to be clear and loud.
And we want you guys to go through your life not feeling the need to label yourself as anything,
Yeah.
to not have a
Deserve that.
word, to not have a word for how you eat.
Yeah.
Just like you just eat food.
Yes. Oh my
Just
God.
eat
You'll see
food.
it's like so powerful and so relieving. Like c'est tellement frais, fresh. Just feels good.
Fresh.
Fresh. Okay, you guys, follow us everywhere. Buy your ticket for our event.
Yes.
Okay. You need to buy your ticket for our event. Neil and Jeff are waiting for you online to host you. Like, I just like can't wait. That's my favorite part. I said this last podcast. Favorite part is them being a part of this. It's going to be so funny. You guys are going to be so entertained online as much as the people that are in the crowd. So don't forget to purchase your ticket. Link is added to this podcast. Have a fantastic day, evening, whatever. And thank you so much for listening to us. Bye, Leash.
Bye.